Introduction to Business Economics. So let's begin. So these are the content maps, what I'm going to deal with. What is economics? Basics to economic problem. Understanding business economics. Differentiating economics and business economics. And why study business economics? So first of all, what is economics? It is a study of how society manages its scarce resources. So can anyone tell what are resources? Anyone?
Anything which are used for further production.
Okay. So resources are anything that is used to produce goods and services to satisfy human needs and wants. So what are the three types of resources we have?
Natural, man-made, and human.
Okay. So we have natural resources, man-made, and human resources. So what do you think? Which of these three are the most important? Anyone?
Natural.
Natural.
The natural.
Okay. So what I feel is the human resource that's the most important resource. Now, why is it human resource? Because anything, until we know how to use it, it is not a resource. For a very simple example, we can take of Neolithic age. That is before the start of the Copper Age, Bronze Age, as before the Metal Age started. Metals were there in the planet Earth well before the Bronze Age started, in the form of ores or mines, whatever. But people didn't know how to use it. So it was not a resource back then. Only when people knew how to use these metals, it became a resource for them. So everything we have, until we know how to use it, is not a resource. And once we know how to use that thing, it becomes a resource for us. So human resource is the most important resource because we humans, with our knowledge, skill, and ability, can turn everything into a resource. Now, what is scarcity? Anyone?
Resources are limited.
Okay.
When there's insufficient.
Yeah. So when there's insufficient supply of resources in relation to demand, it is scarcity. Now, the focal point here is the demand, because without demand, there cannot be scarcity. For example, we have 10 glasses of water, and we don't have a demand for even a single glass of water. So we don't have a scarcity there. But then, if we have 8 glasses of water, we have a demand for 8 glasses of water, and we have 10 glasses of water. Even then, scarcity is not there. So what I mean to say is that when supply is more than the demand, there is no scarcity. And when supply is less than the demand, there is scarcity. For example, we have a demand for 100 glasses of water, but we have only 10 glasses of water. That is when we have scarcity. So the 3 points here are, number one, scarcity only exists when there is a demand. Without demand, there cannot be scarcity. And when supply is more than the demand, there is no scarcity. When the supply is less than the demand, there is scarcity. Now, these are the two major reasons for the economic problems. Number one, resources are scarce. Number two, people have unlimited wants. And one more reason, resources have alternative usage. So the scarcity diagram, unlimited wants plus limited resources causes scarcity. And then we have basic economic problem, what to produce, how to produce, and for whom to produce. So can anyone tell what is the other name for basic economic problems? We have one more name for it.
Central.
Sorry.
Central economic problems?
Yeah, correct. So basic economic problems are also known as central economic problems. So what to produce, first of all? It decides what goods and services has to be produced and in what quantity. And there are again two types of goods, capital goods and consumer goods. So capital goods are the one which are used to produce consumer goods. So basically, capital goods are not the final output. They rather act as an input to produce the consumer goods. For example, the equipments, machines, whatever we have, they are not directly consumed by the consumer, but it acts as an input for the consumer goods. So capital goods are the one which are used to produce consumer goods. Consumer goods are the one which are directly consumed by the consumer. So in consumer goods, again, we have two types. Number one, we have durable products and we have non-durable products. So durable products are the one which can be used again and again for a long period of time. For example, we have TV, AC, fan, fridge, everything are durable products. Non-durable products are the one which cannot be used again and again for a longer period of time. We have to use them immediately. Best example can be food items. Next, we have how to produce. It deals with the techniques to produce. Again, we have two techniques to produce. We have capital intensive and we have labor intensive. So can anyone tell what is the difference between capital intensive and labor intensive? Anyone?
Capital intensive, we use machinery and the raw materials. Labor intensive is the employees.
Correct.
Manpower.
Yeah. So capital intensive the one which requires high input of machines and equipments. And it also requires high investment. That is why it is known as capital intensive. Obviously, short-term investment is very large. In a long term, we may get the return of investment, but for a short period of time, we have to invest a very large sum of money. Labor intensive, the input is labor. It requires more
Human
of labor.
resources.
Yeah, human resources and labor. So the labor intensive, the short term, the investment will be less, but even the outcome will be output will be less. So few differences we can say. Capital intensive input will be machines and equipments, high level of investment. But in labor intensive, we have the input of labor and less of investment. But one positive thing in labor intensive compared to capital intensive is that it can provide more employment opportunity. Whereas we don't have a lot of employment opportunity in capital intensive. So that is one positive plus point for labor intensive. Now, what do you think? Which of these two, capital intensive or labor intensive, is good for the economy?
Labor intensive.
Okay.
I think it depends on the whether we are focusing on long term or the short term.
Okay. So what I feel is a balance of both capital intensive and labor intensive is very important for the stability of the economy. Because capital intensive directly contributes to the GDP of the country. We have more production, we have more consumption, so it contributes to the GDP. But it does not provide enough employment opportunity. Labor intensive, it provides more of employment opportunity. So a balance of both is very important for the stability of the country, the economic stability of the country. For whom to produce? It's obvious the consumers. So every company or firm, they target the consumers based on certain factors: age, income, lifestyle, geography, the place where they live. These are few points. Best example for age, we can take the toys which are produced, which are manufactured for children. No company will manufacture a stuffed toy or a doll for a man of 30 years or 25 years. So they only target the children from between, say, 2 to 6 years or something like that. So income now. Best example for income we can take of smartphones. India is the largest manufacturer as well as the consumer of smartphones after China. But in India, only the mid-range and the entry-level smartphones have a huge market share. Whereas high-end smartphones does not do well in India because the per capita income in India is way less than that of country like America. In America, we have more of uh, uh, the high-end smartphones, which is not in the case of our country because the income, the per capita income of Indian people is very less. Now, lifestyle, geographic conditions, and many other factors are there. Now, understanding business economics. So business economics is a science that deals with the application of economic theories, techniques, principles, and concepts to solve business and management problems. So basically, we don't have any new concepts or theories in business economics. We only use whatever is there in economics to solve the problems. So it is only the practical application of what we are learning in economics to solve the business problem. It is also known as applied microeconomics. So can anyone tell why is it called applied microeconomics?
Because theories from microeconomics, which are used for the business economics, they are applied for the business economics.
Okay. Yeah. So applied because we are only applying whatever we are learning in economics. There's no new concept in business economics. Whatever we are learning in economics, we are just applying that in business economics. And microeconomics. We know business economics is micro in nature. It only deals with the particular problem, like the problem of the business or the firm. It has nothing to do with what is happening in and around the world and the country. Obviously, business economics does get affected by the macro environment. That is why it is micro in nature, but it gets affected by the macro environment. So it is also a study of macro environment. Best example we can take of demonetization. It happened, the government took the decision to demonetize, but it affected all the sectors of the economy, whether it was micro, small, medium, or large sector, in a positive or a negative way, but it affected all the sectors of economy. But it happened at a macro level, at the country level. Even international factors does influence the business. Best example we can take of oil, the pricing of petroleum products. It is decided by the international market, depending upon the international market, but it affects each and every sector of economy from local business to a large scale business because petroleum products are basic outputs for all the business. So basic input, sorry. So it affects all the business when petrol prices go high or comes down. So that's why business economics get affected by the macro environment. Now the differences between economics and business economics. Economics is comprehensive and wider in scope, so it gives complete picture of everything. Whereas business economics is very narrow and has limited scope. It only deals with what is happening in the business and the firm. Now, economics, it is concerned with a body of principles. There are many principles, concepts, theories, laws in economics. Business economics, it only deals with the application of those theories and laws into solving the business problems. Economics, it is both micro and macro. Business economics is only micro. Now, microeconomics means it gives a limited, it is limited and gives a partial picture of the economy. It only deals with the problems of the firm and the business. Whereas macroeconomy, it deals with everything. It gives a complete picture of the economy. And it deals with it analyzes decisions made by the government. In microeconomics, we mostly focus on supply and demand. Macroeconomics mostly focuses on the pricing policy. So business economics is the microeconomics. Economics is both positive and a normative science. Business economics is normative science. So can anybody tell what are the difference between these both, positive and normative science? Okay, only normative science?
Normative is basically the assumptions. It
Correct.
tells about what ought to be, something like that.
Yeah.
The positive, which is means we can prove that,
Yes.
which are we can
Actual
prove,
analysis.
yes, are proven things, and these are normative is basically assumptions or what ought to be. I think we cannot prove that.
Okay. So positive science, it deals with the data and facts. But normative science, it only deals with what should be and what ought to be, only the opinions. So business economics is a normative science, whereas economics is both positive and normative. Economics discusses general economic problems. Business economics just focuses on the problems of the firm and the industries. So why study business economics? Helpful in organizing, helpful in decision making. I think these 2 points are self-explanatory. So I will go to the third point, minimizing uncertainties. So now there is a difference between uncertainty and risk. Risk is anything we can predict what will happen in the future, but uncertainty, we cannot predict what is going to happen. Risk can be, we can measure the risk. Uncertainty cannot be measured as well. Risk, we can even manage risk. Uncertainty cannot be managed. So we can only minimize uncertainty to a certain level. With proper planning, we can minimize the uncertainties. So business economics help to minimize uncertainties. Helpful in chalking out business policies. So business economics also helps to chalk out the business policies based on the past performance, the demand, and the competition in the market, and many other factors. Helpful in demand forecasting. Now, can anybody tell what is demand forecasting?
Predicting.
Demand will be there for the product.
Predicting about the demand.
Yeah. So demand forecasting is the analysis of or the estimation of the possible demand for a good or service in the future. So basically it depends upon the forecasting of demand, which means the analysis of the present, analysis of the past performance, the past performance of a goods or service in the present market conditions. Next, we have helpful in cost control. So that's it from my side. If anyone have questions, they can ask.